I'm very happy to be here talking to you all today. This is some work that I did with a former PhD student, Sarita Levitan, who's now faculty at Hunter College. And we worked on this for many years from, well, I think she started maybe a bit later than this, but I worked on it from 2010 to 2024 to different aspects of this. And whether people were lying or telling the truth, we did a lot of work on that as well. And so I'm going to talk to you about the more recent work that we did in about 2020 to 2024. So here were the goals and the objectives that we had on doing this work. We wanted to be able to increase our understanding of online radicalization efforts when people are trying to get other people radicalized. And we wanted to look not just at the right-leaning groups, but also the left-leaning groups in social media. And we wanted also not just the groups that are in the USA, but also the groups that are outside the USA as well. And we wanted to know what kind of viewers do these videos appeal to. So we were able to get a lot of people annotating them as to whether they appeal to the person or not, and what kind of people they appeal to. And we wanted to look at the different kinds of techniques that were employed in both radical and de-radical content to try to see which ones were the most useful methods of trying to radicalize people or de-radicalize people. And of course, we are computer scientists. I'm at the computer science department at Columbia, and all my students, of course, are building large language models all the time just to be able to identify these and other things. So how do we computationally identify these techniques? We also wanted to, as I mentioned earlier, identify potentially useful de-radicalizing techniques. And these came after the radicalization period started, and what type of videos or the elements in the videos are the most effective in making people decide they're going to leave whatever radical group they're in. And we wanted to build a unified multimodal process toolkit to help us create conversational systems on social media that are useful in, at this point, de-radicalizing. We are not radical people, so we wanted to see how these people could become de-radicalized. So here's the data collection that we did for the radical videos. We collected over 30,000 online videos of 5 different extremist groups. They were both left and right-leaning groups. And these were QAnon. How many people have heard of QAnon? Anybody? Anybody heard of Antifa? Proud Boys? Maybe not. It's not quite so big. And how about Oath Keepers? Maybe not so many. Right? You and Black Lives Matter? Yeah, this was very popular in the U.S. And we looked at these platforms to collect people on YouTube and ByteShoot, and we collected metadata and also the comments that people made on why they decided to join the group or not join the group. And so this, I should probably just say, are all of the total videos, the comments, the average likes. You can see that there were a lot of likes for QAnon and even more for Antifa. And there were dislikes, not so many, interestingly. And then the average views, there were a lot of views for Proud Boys. So and also Black Lives Matter was big in both of those. So I totally recommend, if you look at my slides, you can probably just go and look into these and see what you think about these particular groups, at any rate. The prior work was popularity over time. And we had done some event-based group popularity analysis over the different times that we were looking into. And if you can see these, they may be, yeah, you can see the years. So the president, at the time of the presidential election, QAnon was very popular. The Proud Boys were kind of popular. To some extent, Oath Keepers were, but Antifa, there was a lot of popularity. And for Black Lives Matter, yes, over some presidential times, they were very popular. So it seemed like when people were going to have to identify a new president and vote for them, they were really excited about some of these radical programs, because the radical programs would tell them who to vote for. So at least they would look at them. Whether they would then go ahead and vote for the person that was mentioned there is not so clear. Okay, and here's some video stance detection that we did. We, at this time, this was earlier in our career for building large language models, so we simply looked at random forest and SVM classifiers to try to detect a video stance, whether it was positive or negative about the particular viewer, and detecting how many videos liked or disliked one or the other. I think you can see here there was very few dislikes for QAnon and Antifa. So we just wanted to know how many people like these, how many people dislike these, and how does that affect our promotion or our selection of a new president. So this was a case study of QAnon. We wanted to look at the viewer traits, and these would be personality, media consumption, how many, what the person's personality was, how much media were they watching, and how are these associated with their preferences to or against QAnon. And we wanted to know what high-level video characteristics, such as the quality, the arousal of emotions, and speaker traits, were correlated with viewers' perceptions. So we asked them to annotate that as well, and which modality features affected the viewer's perception the most. Yeah, we wanted to know which ones are really effective and which ones are perhaps less effective. So we selected a subset of videos from our large QAnon corpus, and 3 pro and 3 anti-QAnon. And then we created a questionnaire to collect viewer perceptions about these. And 46 viewers participated. This is not a lot, but at least we got some pretty good results. And so here were the questions that we asked. Did you understand the video? Was the video professionally produced? Is there any violence displayed in the video? And how likely do you think that people in the video will become involved in protests, in violence, or in illegal acts? Do you think the video is boring or lively, persuasive, trustworthy, or logical? So we had people doing a lot of annotation, a lot of thinking about how to annotate these videos. And we also wanted them to say, do you think the speakers in the video are charismatic, or confident, or eloquent, or all? And did you enjoy watching the video? And what emotions did you feel when you watched it? Are you happy or sad? Which part of the video was the most impactful on your feelings? And would you, or any others watching this, take any of the following actions after you watched the video? Either say that you liked or disliked it, post a supporting, criticizing comment, share the video, search for some similar videos, learn more about the group, and, of course, consider joining the group. Okay, so those were our questions that we asked. And here are the responses. So the viewer demographics, I think you can see these a little better than I can, but these were gender, political leaning, age, level of education, ethnicity, and that was pretty much, yeah, gotta look at these. So you can see that blue is male, and yellow is female, and green is neither. So most of the people that you can see that we actually did the videos for us were male, and that's the way they were distributed, male, female, and other. So here are the distribution of the viewers' opinions on media sources. So here you can see that overall the radical groups examined the most positive were the Black Lives Matter, but many negatives for QAnon, Antifa, and Proud Boys. And you can see those up there, the blue versus, and it was the males that really liked some of these. Yeah, and those were the places that we got them from as well. So Black Lives Matter had pretty reasonable opinions, and the other ones had pretty bad negative opinions. Those are the reds. So the blues are the positive. The greens are the positive, and the yellows are sort of in between. So you can see from this that there was a lot of difference between males and females in their analysis of QAnon, and they had a different, based on where they looked at them, they also had some pretty different feelings about them. So, like, yeah. At any rate, that was basically our demographic distribution. So basically, we aggregated 3 metrics from the questionnaire to assess the viewer's perception. So this is basically the overall results that we got from what I just showed you. How many people enjoyed watching the video? What was the enjoyment score? It could be -2 to +2. Content score, whether a video is persuasive, trustworthy, logical, professional, -1 to 1. And whether viewers would take a supporting or opposing actions, -3 to 6. So basically, we wanted to know how many people actually felt one way or the other, and about what different things. So here are the significance tests that we did. We did some Spearman's correlation between viewer traits and metric scores. We wanted to see which groups enjoyed the QAnon and found them persuasive, etc., etc. So here are the results. There were positively correlated features with the enjoyment score, the opinion of the Proud Boys, CNN, and WSJ, positively correlated features with content score, and this was from how many people know Fox News? It's kind of different from some of the other news. At any rate, opinion of Fox News, positively correlated features, and positively correlated features with action scores, the opinion of right-leaning groups, and social media. So here are the results in more detail, but basically those are the overall results that we got. So the high-level video characteristics for these, the significant tests, again, on Pearson's correlation. There were positively correlated features with enjoyment score, validness, and persuasiveness. However, get this, there were negatively correlated features with content score, and that was disgust and boredom. So enjoyment, people liked. Content, they didn't like, which was an interesting difference. We had positively correlated features with action scores too, trustworthy, persuasive, logic, enthusiastic speakers. And we also had some multimodal features. Friends and gender lexicons positively influence the viewer's perceptions. So did they see friends in the video, or did they see which genders did they see in the videos that influenced their perception? The violence, when they saw people being violent, that was negative. They were negative about that, but they might have been positive about other kinds of things for the same QAnon. And when speakers were showing too much surprise or sad facial expressions, those brought them a negative affect. Interesting. So if people looking to look surprised or sad, then those were not features that people thought brought a positive impact. And interestingly, though, I have to say, angry speakers appealed to more of the viewers. So if you're angry, you're going to appeal to people if you want to get good politics. And when they saw weapons, that had a negative effect. So all those different things were just stuff that we tried to figure out one particular group, which was at the time the most popular group, QAnon. Now, after this, we changed our work to look at de-radicalizing. So we didn't want to figure out how do people become radical. We wanted to figure out how they become non-radical people. What can you do to de-radicalize people in social media? So again, we collected, we do a lot of data collection. We collected a lot of de-radicalizing videos. And what we were looking for and found was videos that had testimonies from former members. And they would often say why they decided to leave the group in their videos. We also had videos from testimonies from the relatives, and these would be a family of a member saying how they thought a person had become de-radicalized from social media, and videos revealing the lies that radical groups use to recruit members, which was very interesting because there were a lot of these. To recruit members, a lot of these radical groups just lied to them about things, and probably political things, but also things about their family or things about what might happen to them if they did not join the group. And there are also videos on the punishment or disapproval from law enforcement or government about becoming a member of a radical group. So there was a lot of that at the time as well. And again, we collected likes, views, and comments to figure out which of these videos are the most popular ones. And we manually annotated the video types, such as whether the video is a presentation or an interview, to see which ones are the more successful ones. And here are, again, I know I'm talking a lot about annotations, but these are good things to think about annotating. The metadata that we scraped was just the ID, the channel title, description, publish time, all that sort of thing. All those specific aspects of the URL, the likes, the views, comments, etc. And the attributes that we did the annotation for this one were the style and the video type. We wanted to know all of those things that I just mentioned to you. What kind of video is this? Because we wanted to know what kind of video is more liked and what kind of video is less liked. So we wanted to know, is this just a news segment? There were a lot of news segments. Is it a podcast or is it an interview? And all of these were about people getting de-radicalized. we wanted to know, guess what, which group does the video concern about somebody being de-radicalized? So which of the groups were less likely to keep their people on? The person's relationship to the group. Some of them were inside the group and some of their family were outside the group. And of the voice, what kind of voice people talking in the video were. And also we wanted to look into background music. How important is background music in some of these videos? Does it help or not? So once again, we collected a lot of videos and we annotated at least 81% of them to be able to come up with some of the results on this. And here are the things that we came up with. This was pretty impressive. There were videos from many different groups, and the Black Lives Matter group, which is over on that side, was the most popular one at the time. You can see it had viewers. It had over 1 million viewers. That's amazing. QAnon and had some, but not as many as we might have expected. Antifa had 737,000, etc. And there was a racist group also, and they had over 800,000. So this was the difference among all these groups, and the total videos, the average comments, and the average likes. So this was just the data that we collected so that we could see what data collection was most useful and for which groups. The white supremacist group is a new one that I haven't mentioned before, but we also looked at that, and I think I mentioned Oath Keepers as well. And there were some people that actually were members of both Oath Keepers and Proud Boys, so they removed themselves from both groups. So now, these are the things that, I don't know, maybe people here might be more interested in. We did collect videos from the non-US groups. There were some from France. How many have heard of the Yellow Vests from France? Anybody? Oh, good. This was created, as we understand it, and we saw from frustrations of middle and working class people because they thought that they had too many taxes and there was a rising cost of living. The protests here peaked in 2018, and they were prominent in some of the major French cities like Paris and Marseille and Bordeaux. Anybody live in any of these cities? Possibly. Thank you. At least one person. I don't know if you knew about this or yes, okay. But this slowed down during the COVID-19 pandemic. So there weren't so many people being very excited about this at that time after 2018. And then there was the Pegida, the Patriotic Europeans Against the Islamicization of the West in Germany. This was a right-wing nationalist group, and they were anti-Islamic and aiming to restrict immigration into Germany. And these rallies grew really, really rapidly. There were up to 25,000 in January 2015, and after that they actually inspired Islamophobic movements in other countries across Europe. I don't know about those countries today because it may all be very different because a lot of things have changed, but this is what we found at the time. So this is another cool one. It was from Tibet, and it was the Tibetan independence movement. They were advocating for freedom of Tibet from Chinese rule. And the participants did not behave violently toward other people, but curiously enough, they behaved violently toward themselves. It was becoming increasingly common, and this is so scary, for young people to self-immolate in protest. So that's another type of another type of protest groups to just immolate oneself because one is against the group. And there's last one here, the Hindutva in India, extremist right-wing group. In India, this was pushing for an establishment of a Hindu state that promoted Hinduism over secular values and was going to actually be strongly modeled after German Nazism. Amazing. Just amazing. These supporters advocated for Hindu supremacy and homogeneity. And this stand out from the other radical groups in the legitimacy it achieved through its success at the national stage. So this was one of the groups that was actually more prominent and more able to actually get people to join. So here is some information about de-radicalizing data in social media posts, which were some of the last things that we worked on. I don't know how many people use Reddit. Some. So basically, we were looking at Reddit and subreddit data, and there are a lot of different groups. There are a lot of different data sets, news and politics, and something called Out of the Loop, and QAnon casualties and recovery. And the important ones that we looked at was Change My View. So for Change My View, this was one of the most useful we had to find interesting and useful de-radicalizing comments. So a poster here will state an opinion, either pro or contra. That is, somebody will post this for some radical groups, about some radical groups. The viewers respond with their arguments, whether they're against or for what the person said, what the person posted. If the original poster finds a comment that changes their mind, and this was really cool, or they find it compelling, they award it a delta. So for all of the groups that actually changed people's mind, we got the information about what helped to change people's minds to leave one of these radical groups. So we were collecting both mind-changing and non-mind-changing comments regarding membership in far-right and far-left groups to identify what is it. And again, I know I'm just going on and on about how did people get de-radicalized? What is it that helped get them de-radicalized? And so these things also provided useful information. QAnon casualties, you can imagine, had some useful information about how people decided to get out of QAnon. And there was something called Recovery, which contained posts from ex-QAnon believers, and they discussed how difficult it was for them to get out of QAnon. They had to struggle to get out, because when they stopped joining, and when they stopped going to groups, and when they stopped appreciating groups, the other QAnon people would often get back to them and try to get them back to QAnon. So this is our video processing toolkit. I think, yeah. How much time do I have left? About 5 minutes? Okay, I'm going to go fast. This is our video processing toolkit, which we created. This was just to basically come up with a pipeline of video segmentation that could actually help to create something that would de-radicalize people. We had some customized option support, some segmentation, sentence level, etc., and basically we extracted these features of interest like weapons and facial emotion, and we wanted to say, how can we create videos that will actually help to de-radicalize people in different groups? And we also, yeah, this is almost the end. We also began exploring different methods that might be useful to de-radicalize people. Guess what? Chatbots. And so we started building chatbots that could actually come up with de-radicalizing conversations and videos for members of far right and far left groups. And basically, we just explored video content development and conversational AI development. And that's where we really ended up with conversational AI, trying to help to de-radicalize people with different sorts of in different sorts of groups. So we created some of these. I have a lot of students working for me, and they created a bunch of videos, starting with those about QAnon and Proud Boys. So we got to see what they thought were de-radicalizing videos in chatbots. And we also proposed a new set of these chatbots in social media, but we were mainly doing it in text to engage people who were at risk and do this non-judgmentally, provide them with resources and counter narratives, and etc. Anyhow, here are conclusions. We collected a lot of corpora of radical and de-radicalized videos. We got a lot of information from people on their views, their likes, their contents. We did a whole lot of annotation of these to see which videos were more useful for a group and which were less useful. And we began collecting lots and lots of social media posts. And at the time, we continued developing our video processing toolkit, and we began examining the creation of de-radicalizing videos and chatbots. And I think that's it. Okay. Yes.
Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. It's about everyone, and it's also for everyone. Now we have time for a couple of questions or even more. Do you have any questions? Yeah. Here.
Thank you so much for your fantastic work. I see you have done a lot of work on analyzing these multimedia data, and we know those preference of human change over time. How do you solve this problem?
Have we solved the problem of human change over time?
The preference, like you do a lot of survey that people's preference on this kind of video. Media.
Yeah, no, we got we did already get a lot of results on that.
Yes.
So we have a lot of preferences of what people thought about these, particularly the subreddits and the chatbots. We got a lot of people who would tell us what they thought, and then we sometimes update the chatbots to make them more effective. Yeah. It did pretty well, too.
Yeah.
In the end, we just kept, updating them and updating them, and
so your data sets keep updating in these
they did until
how many years do you collect
unfortunately, after 2024, our project was ended by the people who were supporting it. So even though we had some papers, we do have some papers that we've written. At that time, at 2024. But those are the last things we did. We were told to stop.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, anyhow.
Thank you. Any question? Yeah.
Thank you. As a regular internet user, I know more about QAnon and the Proud Boys than I would have liked. My main question is maybe slightly high level, but if you had the opportunity to advise social media developers and people who own these networks, how should they address extreme content on their platforms?
How should who should address the social media content? Should it be the people, I mean, the people who are creating it or the people who are responding to it or both?
Yeah, it's an interesting problem. I think an idealized social network wouldn't platform these extreme ideas as readily as they do. As you pointed out, like the videos with an angry tone often do much better, and in my experience, that is what I'm fed.
Thank you. Yeah, guess I have to do this one. What I told you is what we found out. Those were the things that people found were useful in de-radicalizing people and the things that people did not find were useful. So, yeah, I kind of put all that information out in the slides. You can go back if you want to look at specific things as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, but anybody who wants to, create something in social media that's useful for de-radicalization might just look at our slides. Okay.
Thank you. We can have the final question there.
Hello. Yeah, I think my question is also related to social media. Mm-hmm. So I use Facebook a lot, and also I think your research is very good in the current state of the world. If you see, or as I use Facebook a lot and all, and I report lots of maybe this kind of extremist post or something like that. So what do you think is that, because you saw it that the research was maybe at least 2 years ago. So do you think at the current stage is more tougher than the before? So what do you think in the point of view to, what do you think is, because 2 years ago maybe the uses of AI was less, mm-hmm. Now it's more. And what do you think the AI actually affected in this field of extremism and all in social media? So that's what do you think about it?
Yeah, well, a lot of the people I know are no longer using social media because they're really scared about getting that information out for other people. I do not. I mean, I used to use social media. I don't use it anymore because it's too scary. But I imagine that a lot of the things that people found that were very useful for de-radicalization and things like that could be useful for a lot of people who we may not even want to have them, but it's there. They can use the data we have, the AI data that we have, to de-radicalize or to get people interested in their own groups.
And the effect of AI, you think?
Yeah.
AI also.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have a big effect of AI now for my class, because a lot of people are just using it to try to do their homework. And luckily, I have a lot of very smart TAs who can figure that out and tell them, you've got to do your homework over. At any rate.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And also thank you very much for the engagement from our audience. Now let's applause again for the wonderful talk of Professor Hirschberg.